Hi, everyone, and welcome to Sandra Coos Unfiltered. My name is Sandra Coos, and today I'm going to talk about PTSD. Now, to get into the subject, I want to tell you what happens when we're dealing with PTSD. Our body is the only home we will always have. We can move apartments, we can sell our home and buy a new one, we can move to a different country, but our body will always be the same. Our body will always be our home. Now, when we're dealing with PTSD or any type of trauma, intense or not, our body has become unsafe. Our home has been threatened. We don't no longer feel safe in our home, in our body. And that is the problem. That's why we have PTSD. It's the result of a moment in time that catapulted us out of feeling safe in our body. And from then on out, whatever it is that triggered us, traumatized us, becomes a threat because we no longer feel safe. That's why so many soldiers have PTSD after loud noises, after seeing the horrible things that they saw, after having like a tread mine explode next to them. The sound, that's why they can't have fireworks or watching shooting games or something like that because they don't feel safe in their body. Their home is no longer a safe space. But PTSD is not just an issue our soldiers have to deal with. I work with so many clients who have PTSD from sexual trauma, from sexual assault and rape. And even though it's a different situation, it's the same outcome. They don't feel safe in their home. They don't feel safe in their body. And this can be so difficult when trauma survivor finally finds the right partner, a partner that loves them, that cherishes them, that takes them in their arms and says everything is going to be okay. And then when they're trying to be intimate with their partner, their body is sabotaging them because the body is experiencing an intense trigger. Trigger come out of nowhere. They can come for any reason. We don't even see them coming. But with intimacy issues, it's a whole new level of trauma because not only do trauma survivors experience PTSD, which can completely freeze them. You know, I remember when I had my PTSD attacks, I felt nauseous when my husband only touched me. And I hated that because I know that he loves me, but I was not able to give him what he needed. So, as a trauma survivor who's dealing with sexual PTSD, you not only are attacked by triggers with your body going in total shock and emotional overload, at the same time, you're upset with yourself. You punish yourself for not being able to finally get over this. You're afraid that because you have issues with intimacy that your partner will not love you or will leave you. There is so much attached to intimacy issues and PTSD being at the core of it. So telling a survivor of trauma who suffers from PTSD to tell, well, you have to live with that, that's like a life sentence in a prison. That's not okay. That's why professionals should do whatever they can to help their clients through. And that's what I do. And I love every minute of it. I love getting messages from my clients who go on vacation after they've just released the intense trauma that kept them hostage for so long and telling me they have the most amazing time with their partner. They have no intimacy issues. They love being with them. And even though, yes, those emails are sometimes a little TMI, but it warms my heart so much that they were able to experience that, the joy of surrendering into the act, the joy of being intimate. It's a whole new level for them and their partner to explore. Now, as I was going through my healing journey, I also dealt with PTSD, but I fully healed. And it was very surprising for me when a few weeks ago, took a course in mental health first aid to learn that modern medicine tells us PTSD cannot be healed. It can only be treated with medication and learned to live with. After the training, I went to my instructor and I talked to him about it. And I said, why are you saying that? PTSD can be healed. And he said, no. And I was like, okay, what am I? A medical miracle? What makes me so special that I was able to heal my PTSD when you say it cannot be done? He didn't have an answer. I went on talking to him about the work that I do with my clients. The modality that I use is specifically designed to help people release trauma and PTSD successfully. And I asked him again, have you heard about this modality? And he said, well, yeah, somewhere, somehow, but I never really looked into it. That's too bad. Because this modality, called traumatic incident reduction, is evidence-based. It has been proven time and time again to release even the most severe PTSD. And yet modern medicine doesn't talk about it much. So even though, of course, he could not change the whole narrative of the class because he has to go by what modern medicine tells him to say, he changed his verbiage the next day, which was very interesting. And he said, didn't say anymore that PTSD was not something we could heal. We just haven't figured out how to do it yet. Even though that still isn't true, but it's a step in the right direction. So what we have to understand is that PTSD is a very intense trigger. And at the very basic, that's all it is. But modern medicine calls it a disorder, which means it's something that happened and now you will have to live with this for the rest of your life. At the very basic, it doesn't even make sense because our body is self-healing on all levels. We just have to give it the right environment and it can heal. Now, I have been working with my clients through PTSD and deep trauma for years with amazing results. So telling me it can't be healed is not true. It can, and we should. Because struggling with PTSD is trauma is in control of our life. Like in my former video, don't let trauma win. Every time you don't work on yourself, every time you don't try and find a way to heal, trauma wins. Don't let it. There are so many amazing modalities out there that can help you heal. PTSD is nothing more than an intense trigger, no matter what anyone tells you. Don't let trauma win. Now, if you would like to know more about TIR, or traumatic incident reduction, I will leave the link below this video to the official website, and I will leave the link to my website with its explanation. And if you want to talk to me about it, please reach out. I'll leave my email address below as well. If you have any questions, I'm happy to answer them. I just want to emphasize again, PTSD is nothing you have to live with for the rest of your life. You can heal. So be stronger than your trauma. Don't let trauma win. I do hope this video was helpful. So please like, share, and subscribe to my channel. And always remember, trauma is not a life sentence. You have the power to heal. Bye.